Plymouth Argyle have just been relegated from the Championship, mostly down to one manager, then the other one did pretty well. However, he's gone over to Schalke, leaving them with new manager Tom Cleverley in only his second stint in management, and plus there's a lot of decent players leaving, meaning Plymouth need this rebuild. They've been through it last season despite having a good FA Cup run, beating Liverpool, doing well against City, and seeing as Cleverley isn't in the game, I'm going to take charge of Argyle to take them all the way to the Premier League and beyond that to the Champions League. As yes people, here we are. This is the new Plymouth team. Unfortunately now it is in the third tier, not the second one, of England. And the players, we don't have many at the club right now. We've got Obafemi, who's going back from a loan deal, plus there's been some decent signings that I have tried to make, like Javier Amaechi, who's 24, Jamie Patterson, but he's 33, and Wiradu's from Fleetwood Town, and looks okay, but then there's some bad signings. Well, not really bad. I don't like calling players actually bad, but Arabin Pebble, when I did see this guy play for my club Grimsby, he wasn't really the best. And to put insult onto injury, we do have the best player, Baidu, out on loan, because in real life he didn't want to play in League One, so they've had to loan him out, leaving our squad quite thin, as this is the League One we are gifted. And you see, Birmingham did get promoted, but Life Points has made sure they haven't. We've got Charlton still in this division, Luton, Notts County, and MK Dons. Now, quality-wise, I would say there is better quality players in this FC season than in real life, as £5 million to spend with Argyle. And that isn't really cracking, but due to Cleverley not being in the game, and due to it being me going in as manager, I am going to change this formation up. And I'm going to go with the 4-3-3 attacking variation. We do have some cams here, and we're going to go very aggressive in this league, maybe 90, tone it down a little. And this is the team we're going to play. Maybe actually I'll go to CDMs. I think I am going to do that for Ibrahim and Boateng, as we do have Mackenzie, who is a 24-year-old left back, meaning Ballymumba, one of my favourite players in the entirety of career mode. We're going to get to play him at left wing. And I love that because this guy's one of the best, just versatile players. 4 weeks till a left winger, and he should score a lot of goals there for us. As there we go, I've swapped to the 4-2-3-1, and it's obvious where we need to sign. In this first season, a striker needed. Bim Pebble cannot get us promoted. And we've got to be very smart, as the old manager left to go to Germany, and also one of the best players last season, Burdu, he's gone over to the Bundesliga too. So what I am going to do is try and steal from them. This time we're going to do reverse psychology, as it is this man I'd like to sign. His name is Fabio Torsiello. He's only 65 rated, but we actually could do with 2 forward men. Ryan Hardy went to Wrexham. We did lose him as a striker, and we lost a loan deal in Obafemi, so we are going to have to get the backup in. And for that, maybe I even look a division below for Mohamed Sanko, as I'd never actually heard of this guy before. He's now 22 at the end of the season, 69 overall. Not bad, not great. Is this team promotion material with the decrease in Edwards, with the CDMs? Maybe not. And also the cam in Jamie Patterson. He is going and getting weaker, but then we do have some players back, like Callum Wright, +1. I think he must have literally just come back. And Baidu +1, as I did loan these guys out at the end of last season because the life points, it threw me off a little, but still they have been cracking. And Ballymumba has played. I don't know if he's played on that wing, as we just changed him to a left winger build. And he's gone up +7 by that, +8 overall. 77 rated Bally. What a player he actually is, as he must have played on the wing. 11 goals. Amaechi with 7, Patterson 13, Torsiello did actually outplay and outscore the other striker, Sanko, which is brilliant, and maybe me as manager does change the formation next year. I've got plans for this team going forward, and they are kind of what I expected for now. Them finishers, I knew Birmingham and Luton were going to probably be the top 2, but we finished 6th, below Wickham and Stevenage. Not good. Cardiff I expected to face in the playoffs. I didn't expect them to be that much high up from us, and I didn't really want to play play them as only round 3 of the FA Cup. It isn't that run we spoke of, which they had IRL when they beat Liverpool, but still, it's an okay cup run, as cleverly beaten by his former team. Watford, who he just managed, just got sacked from them in the off-season, or at the start of the off-season, hence why he ended up at Plymouth Argyle. As Luton beat us 4-1 in the BSM round 3, and then we go into the playoffs, and yes, the other playoff game hasn't happened, but we are already out to the team that got relegated with us. Cardiff beat us 3-0 in the second leg at their place, meaning we have to go again in League One. I'm going to need some help. If you guys could smash the subscribe button and the like one, we're on the race to 60,000. Subscribers, that is, not likes. I think 30,000 likes is a bit steep, as you can see, Ghana were the group winners in the Men's International Cup, which one of our returning players, I believe, plays for. Really hope I've got that badge correct. And he goes straight in the team, does Baidu, 73 rated, now our second highest in this squad. Behind Mumba, who is number 1, we've got Sorinola filling in at right back, even though he's a winger, so I might change his position. Zux is a decent defender. It is now midfield with Ibrahim. I did say I liked both strikers, but I think they're still going to have to swap out in order for us to get promoted, as I am not going to be changing formation. That was one thing I thought about straight away when I started, but I'm not going to follow through with it. And I know I've just took a Mechi off his training drill, but I'm going to push our wingers to inside forwards, make Sanko a poacher, because I do need him scoring more. Come on, Mo. You're better than last season. And you've got to prove you're the better striker, as only £4 million to get to the Championship. We had a bit of a stinky first season, but we cannot dwell on that one. The Championship should be the minimum place we are. We have got to go up there, although there's players out of contract, and one of those included is Ballon, who I always think about selling. Look at his market evaluation. He's worth 23.5 million. That could completely transform our squad. So what I am going to do right here is I'm going to sit down with the main man himself, sign him up to another 1-year deal, but maybe be sneaky with him, then placing him on the transfer list. Not to actually sell him in particular, but if we do get an offer, which is good, we can definitely let him go there and increase our budget. As Sorinola, he is going to train as a right back, so we would then be needing a new right winger and maybe another centre back alongside another left winger now, because Ballymumba has left the club, giving us 30.1 million going to Dusseldorf over in the German leagues, where we did a lot of shopping last season, but now 29 million pounds. Spending spree is going to happen, but I'm going to walk you through my thought process a little more in depth, as the formation's not changing, but the positions now you can see are getting circled are the ones we are going to sign in, and there's 4 in particular crucial ones. However, firstly, there's one club in particular I do want to go and shop at. The one of the ex-manager as centre-back Matty Pollock. Definitely above League One level, but Pollock's one of my favourite defenders. I used to see him live at Grimsby Town. Really good player and a loyal one. Alongside this winger, Kwadwo Bar. He's taken the step down to Plymouth, knowing he's going to get a good wage here, and I'm going to have him as my inverted left winger. Hopefully cutting in and shooting on that right foot as now central midfielders. As firstly, we're going to sign Janssen, a 22-year-old German. And then secondly, a Frenchman, more experienced, Giovanni Haag. And this is this man right here. He was 26. Very good stats and does come in right now at a 78 rating. Not as good as Ballymumba, but we sold a 77 rated to get a 78 plus a lot more. Bar and Sorin, doing very well. Or however you say his name, Soriola, as Bar needs to change to a left winger. 77 overall, he's perfect. That is the same as what Ballymumba was, and I think this guy's a year younger. However, we're not done with changes just yet. Matthew Sorinola. Oh my days, are 79. Oh my days, he's our best player. I mean, his defensive stats were brilliant. His physicality, not bad at all. Plus, he could even go to that CDM position if we really wanted to train him there. Matthew Sorinola. Honestly, I wasn't familiar. With the game of this man now plus 10, and our team looks very good, especially for the third tier, as our highest scorer is Javier Amechi, who only went up by 2, by the way. But speaking of numero 2s, we did finish second in the league behind Oxford United. Still, I'm a bit surprised by that. Our team has drastically improved, not just with signings, but with ratings. Cardiff from last season don't get promoted, they're stuck in this division after beating us last season, and I'm just hoping for a cup run at some point. But Cardiff actually beat us in the FA Cup this year, not the playoffs. And the reason that I do want a cup run, I want a budget next year for the championship, as Watford, oh my days, again, twice in a row in the Carabao after signing their players. They beat us, as we got beat by Grimsby Town, my club, in the BSM. However, still we topped the group, and still Cardiff City came for us. Getting beat in the final, however, by Fleetwood Town 2-0. And we signed a centre-back from Fleetwood Town, who we still haven't played in this save just yet. In Wiredu, 69 overall, really not a fan of him, and I don't think he gets in this team, which honestly doesn't need too much more improving. Going into a season now in the second tier, £11 million is decent. Is it the money we had left over after Mumba? No, but it's still quite good. As one thing I didn't mention last year, we've got to try and go and find them, is the strikers. Now Sanko is 74, but we did have another one in Torciello, who's 22, 73 rated, just behind him. And that competition is going to be fierce, but also contracts are. Because when Matty Pollock came to the club, he only pinned down a 1-year deal, hoping to initially get promoted and maybe build on it with another improved one. Asking for more money, and a lot of other players did as well, as now £9 million. And I don't think we need too much sorting out. Although maybe we do, because the board fight for promotion from the championship. Not what I expected, despite the decent ratings in the team. Don't forget, last year we were behind Oxford, who don't have the greatest of lineups overall. Or maybe actually they do. They've got the 6'8" Skelly Alvaro, ex-Grimsby Town midfielder Idris El Mazouni, 26 now, and strength in depth with Louis Sibley, only 25. A decent team, in fact, as we're on the search for a left back. And Luke Chambers stuck out at Valencia, only 23 and English. We are going to bring him in to replace Mackenzie, the Scotsman, despite costing £4 million, and he's only just a rating above. I do trust him a little more. And then next up, it's got to be goalkeeper. Hazard is pretty good, but he's not the Hazard. Eden Hazard, I mean. And we're not looking for the next Eden Hazard anyway. Although we might go down a path of Eden's, going to his home country of Belgium for the next shot stopper. Let's see how this guy does for us. As this is how we're looking now, and my manners, the new goalkeeper is this kid from Belgium. He's called Leroy, only 19 years of age. Very promising, potential to be special, must have played because he has increased. However, nowhere near the highest rated. We've got 280 rated now in Sorinola and Giovanni Haag, who just looks like captain material. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make him the Plymouth Argyle captain. As for scorers in this league this year, we've got Bar with 13, Torricello getting quite a few, and Sanko getting left behind. Despite scoring quite a few, I think this is the time we change them positions around. He has to be the starter, does Torciello. He's earned it. As next season, you could tell we needed some more strikers, but look at the form. We are not in the top 8, so we were expected to fight for promotion, and we don't. The Blades and Leicester, then Burnley and Everton. How were we supposed to compete with those? As we do finish 12th. That is plenty away from Stevenage, who got promoted, Peterborough and Oxford. I did just speak on some Oxford players as we lose in the FA Cup to Gillingham, a team I haven't rebuilt in a while, and then the Carabao Cup to QPR. Finally, it wasn't Watford, as where did Watford actually finish? They were down in 20th with 20 defeats, so maybe we could steal some more players from them. However, that's not just the aim of next season. The overall aim is to get promotion. And despite the promotion ambitions, we're already in an uphill battle with them contracts, and the first player being our highest rated Sorinola, who we could sell. 52.5 million he's evaluated at, but I am going to give him that new deal. Again, we might do a Ballymumba with him and sell him further on down the line as after contracts. 702k. Are you joking me? How do we get no money? And how the heck are we gaining automatic promotion without actually getting any cash? I think the only thing we've got to say is goodbye to sorry Nola. We're going to have to sell him because it can't go on like this. We need some money, meaning we will have to fill in at right back. I was going to try and fill in at centre half. Maybe even sell our goalkeeper to give Leroy a bit of game time, then Chambers. Hansen, maybe we get another CDM in, because on the bench we could definitely use one. Pleziguelo, no, didn't mean to swap that at all. I'm on about getting a CDM in there, or maybe even a winger for the bench, as there he goes, our right back. To Brighton for £72.1 million. Even sent the game laggy, that one. No idea why they paid the money, and no idea why we've only been given 65 million of what we just received. Hey ho, it is enough, and I'm sorry, but Watford, I am gonna revisit as El Hadji Malik Diouf. He could cost us £20 million, which is a lot for a left back, but I do want to improve the defense first. And maybe he could go onto the right. Or actually maybe not, because he is actually a left footer. And I believe in real life, he's just signed for the Hammers as a lot of money spent on just the one player. But then we are going to go in for a right back proper, like I just said. And the 5'5" Christian Baran. He was a lot cheaper, as there we go. A right back and a left back sorted. Now we're on to these two positions, as I am going to leave the right winger as is. And maybe go in for one in the future. But Leroy on the bench. I am going to swap with Baker, who's a reserve goalkeeper at 54 overall. In order to go and give him some game time, he's got a 1-year loan to Leeds United. As we've got 29 million still, and we've got to get that invested in the squad. As I found a very decent left-footed centre-half called Veselkon. He comes from PSV, can play centre-back, CDM, or left-back. And then from the same team, Camilo Radomesnec, a very good name, which I probably have pronounced wrong, but an Argentinian CDM only. And there they are, both without a face in the game, but one is 22.77 overall, one is 23.80. Brilliant signings from the Eredivisie as Torciello firing up front. We've got Barr, we've got Haag, we've got the double A's there, we've got Matty Pollock in the defence, and a very solid bench as well. We've got Baker now at a 54 in the reserves. Patterson at a 44 with 5 defending. Still, it's our Courtois regen I'm excited to see out on loan, and he has gone up by 5 at Leeds, so that's very good, meaning he will start next season as Diouf, understandably our best player, and quite a few players over 80 rated now, including the top scorer, Fabio Torciello, 24 goals at 24. He is very good, but still, could we go one better? Or maybe we could get another German in on the right-hand side to get a German trio. We'll have to think about that next season, as literally we were so far off them. Everton, that is, but we were top of the promotion playoffs, where I expected us really to be, with Bristol, Millwall and Coventry. No shade meant to be thrown at all, but I honestly do think we should be winning that, as Crystal Palace 4-2 in the 4th round of the FA. Then Leicester 3-1 in the 2nd round of the Carabao, before an initial comeback against Coventry City in the Championship playoff semis. Bristol and Millwall elsewhere. Bristol Rovers winning 2-1, but that is it. The Championship playoff finals won. We beat Bristol City 2-0, meaning Argyle are going from League One to the Premier League within 4 seasons. And the best thing about this season is we're going losing a lot of deadwood. The contracts aligned. So like Wiradoo, I think Jamie Patterson. A lot of them players we weren't initially using have left the club on freeze, giving us 44 million. Probably freed up a little money in this Premier League season, as the teams we should be competing with. There's obviously Ipswich and Everton, who just came up with us. Bournemouth, Burnley, even Palace I consider a rival. We just have to stay in this division, as do I think we're good enough to? I'd say yes, and we don't even need much. I'm going to trust the defenders, because we do have backups. Cooney's only 22, but we've got Zux and we've got Hansen who could play there. Maybe that's a change we make very soon, but then we've got Leroy now at a 79. We've got another regen at right back. I think it's just right winger we need. And I am going to complete that German trio, I think, if I can really force it. Although I'm not going to just do that. We've just literally got to avoid relegation. That is all the board want. And with £44 million, if we buy a winger of real quality, maybe an 83, 84 rated, someone like our Mbeumo, who Brentford had, or maybe someone like our Dimitri Payet. I remember when he was killing it for West Ham, carrying that team at points, as we are going to check in the Bundesliga. This is where the best right wingers should be, but no players found who were German, so we've switched it to right mid. I did see Adeyemi. We've got Tony Graf at Dortmund. 21, worth 34 million. He's in with a shout of being signed. Leroy Sané could be a bit experienced, of course, has won the Premier League before, got numerous play styles on his card. Or Richter, who's a little cheaper than Graf. He's at Bayer Leverkusen, 81 rated, but 89 pace, 85 dribbling. I think this is the guy we need. I think he's going to be a drastic improvement, but he has cost 40 million. Ten Hag didn't want to let go easily, as I'm going to transform him to a right wing, hopefully it boosts him by 1 or 2, giving us a rather solid bench, but a rather solid first team in the Premier League. Okay, and he hasn't just got us fighting relegation, he has us up there. 7th in the Premier League after literally just getting promoted. Done before by Wolves, Sheffield United, I think Leeds United got the top half. And that is a solid finish. Same points as Arsenal, 2 behind Chelsea, and may get us into European competition if the cups go well for us. If the cups are won by teams above us, as I don't think Brighton were. I think that's us outside of Europe with them beating Norwich City. And we actually reached the quarters, losing to Brighton on the way. And then Man City win the Carabao. Now, they did actually finish above us, so maybe there is a chance, albeit a slim one. And we were in the semi-finals, losing 8-3 on aggregate, showing we're not competing with Manchester City yet, but we've got to try and get there, as that is the next step up, going from 7th, 6th, 5th to Champions League. With this being the team that played, we've got almost, or should I say all over 80 ratings. Matty Pollock letting us down a little bit at only 81. Same with the captain Baidu, captain's curse. Then we've got Richter at an 87. The best player at the club, +6. Then we've got Diouf, we've got Leroy, who's gone up 5. Baran's gone up 6. We did put a very young squad together, and we have had that German link-up working fabulously up front with Richter 28. And I was just about to say I'm bloody stuck on signings to make, but then when you look straight on our bench, we've lost one of our strikers who are reserve players. And no wonder that signing wanted to leave. He's so irrelevant, I actually forgot his name. And he wasn't getting played at all, as I just need to sign a contract up to Hansen now. As everybody else I've just signed up, he's the only player which was a little reluctant, and £18 million has been spent on new deals. That is stinky, meaning we've got to kind of rely on this first team a little bit more, with Richter in it, who's been really good as a left-footed right winger, and then Bar as a right-footed left-hand sided player. You know, that's really worked out well. I might do it a little bit more in some future saves. And if we are going to get a new first teamer this season, if we squeeze a little bit of money, maybe from selling himself, we could try and replace this man Baidu, who I think is Plymouth Argyle's record transferred player, who they brought in IRL, as I'm going to put him straight onto that transfer list, hoping to cash in on him, but no bids coming in for him. We've received a massive offer, 135 million from Arsenal for Diouf, but I'm not going to sell him, and unfortunately no bids in for Baidu, which kind of takes me to my second option. I love him, but Matty Pollock. He is only 81 overall. He's the ex-Grimsby Town centre half. So I think I am going to let him go. He's either chose Brighton or Chelsea in a big money deal, and he's going to Sorinola at the Seagulls. And before we do actually replace the centre-back, how is Sorinola and Mumba doing? Well, Mumba's now an 86. He stuttered a bit, but he is at Man City. And then Sorinola is now 90 rated, just kept improving his defending. At Brighton, where we just sold Pollock to, so maybe Matty Pollock turns up at a 90 soon. We know Brighton are good at developing players, but now we've got a lot of money, and we just need kind of a quick fix. Now, he's a left-footed, we don't need him. We need a right-footed centre-half, who is fast, strong, and physical. And that's why we're bringing in from Rayo Vallecano, the Ecuadorian, I believe, Joel Ordonez. Honestly, just looks like an imperative signing. We needed that improvement there to make this squad now all over 84. Because Baidu's gone from the biggest transfer fee to now the lowest rated player as the attack of Bar, Torciello, and Richter. It is phenomenal. He's gone to a 92 as the winger we signed from Erik ten Hag, and we didn't go for another striker. We left Fabio to score on his own through the middle because we do have the wingers in support of him, and 41 goals. That's why we didn't need another player there. And it's without saying Team of the Year, including 2 of our regens in there. And Player of the Year for Torciello. Brilliant. He didn't come in as a starter, but did come in as our first signing. This guy is astronomical. Imperative, all them words you want to use in this Plymouth Argyle success story. Winning the Premier League. Brighton in 4th, Palace in 5th, no Liverpool, Bournemouth are in 8th, but we have gone and bloody done it. I mentioned Prem success in the intro, and that is pure Prem success. I mean, Liverpool down in 13th, Newcastle 15th. It was a really all over their season as Hull and Arsenal play out that historic FA Cup finale again this season. I say that as it happened before, and Oxford have toyed with us. They've never left us alone in this game. And then the Carabao Cup. Leeds, where our goalkeeper used to be, beat us in the final. And speaking of finals, we didn't get any because we didn't get into Europe competition. Only that Carabao Cup, upsetting, but also kind of good. It puts us into the Champions League, and now got to go full throttle. Keep hold of our front three, and we have a serious team on our hands. And 93 million with the only crucial position being a backup striker. Phenomenal, just phenomenal. And we could also do with that other cam. I mean, take Baidu out the team, get maybe another German supporting the Germans, and we could easily pick up a Premier League again and that Champions League, because we are seriously good. They want the FA Cup winning and the Champions League again, do the board, and then reach the final of the Champions League. I mean, I have just spoke about it, but for that to be a medium objective, pretty pushy. As I don't want to see the offers that come in first. Mackenzie, he's just a player I don't want to get rid of. And Del Romensch, well, not Del, Ray, I don't know how I got that wrong, from Manchester City. We've got our amazing goalie Leroy, but then a bid in for Michael Baidu. 78.6 million from Monaco. Sounds perfect. And is perfect. That's why we're going to let him go to get some money in. However, before we actually get spending, what's the biggest bid we get in? It's for Richter, almost 300 million plus Elgif Elmas, which I felt like saying no to as I was literally reading out the money, as we've got 164 million money-wise in our back pocket, with a striker needed first, and I think I'm just going to go Prem experienced. Torciello's going to play in Europe, so Højlund looks like a little steal. For a third of our budget, not bad, of course. Not great if we're going off IRL form, but it's good enough to sit on our bench right there. However, Ibrahim isn't. That's because Callum Wright's jumped into the lineup. Now, we don't have to go German there, but I am going to check there before anywhere else. Just with how good that nation's been to this team, really brought on our attack. And they do have some decent players. Exhibit A, but we can't afford Musiala. We spent too much on Rasmus. Yes, Rasmus Højlund, what a waste. But Asan Ouedraogo, the once wonder kid, is getting saved from Frankfurt and brought over to Plymouth Argyle. Maybe to win that UCL, but definitely to link up with the Germans. And that addition, well, let's call it what it is. That is fantastic.
Say that again?
Genuinely completes the team does Ouedraogo. He links up. They're all over 90 rated, which I have just realised with one defender in that 90 rating club and then a goalkeeper at 23, Leroy, 92. That is the Courtois regen, but if not, he's better. So maybe it isn't. And then we've got Richter to a 93 within 3 seasons of being in the Premier League. He's locked in 49 goal contributions. Bar got quite a few, and Torsiello lacking off a little bit. However, not enough, because as you can see, Ipswich Town in 6th, Fulham in 5th, West Ham 4th, Brighton 3rd, but us up there with another Prem win, making it 2 for 2 in Premier League titles, or 2 for 3 if you count that first season, which I'm not really counting. That was our first year. Give me a break. As the Community Shield is won over Arsenal, English dominance. However, the cups we just can't get right. Leicester hammering Man City on penalties, which we were in the semi-finals and we lost to Leicester with. However, nowhere near the Carabao. We got Liverpool, so we did get a hard game this time. No offence to Oxford, who always beat us. The AC and Inter are capitalised, but it is us in 10th. So we do have to go through a playoff round, which is disappointing, but not that much when you see we beat Bayern Munich. We have got all the German stars, leaving them with no one, and then we beat Baidu's new club, Monaco, but Real Madrid beaten after losing one leg. And then we hammered Barcelona 4-1, meaning the finale is Plymouth versus AC Milan. Interesting, we haven't seen many of the foreign clubs in this save, because this is our first year in Europe. Surprisingly enough with this team, and we are aiming to win it with our 90 rated attack and very good players all round. And it's safe to say, don't know what to expect. We've really got a very good team, but we are playing a team I just saw with Vardiol and Costa. Maybe can be labelled as experience against decent ratings. Our team the better overall, but we need to prove it overall by scoring goals, and I'm talking plural. With how dominant we've actually been, I know we've got it in us, as now Richter to run. That's a brilliant tackle. Lost the ball. Almost leading to an attack, but now it's Richter again on this. I want to see how many skills he's got. Good ball into Bar, who just goes through players. No one actually putting a tackle in. It's saved. It's an open goal, and it's hit the other post. That had to go in from Torsiello. All them high ratings, and we don't even score that one there as Nioni into Saelemaekers. Saelemaekers fires and scores. It is Belgian against Belgian. And Milan strike first in this final. Very disappointed with the goalkeeping on show. Especially for a 92 rated, and especially when our team is this good. We should not be behind. We shouldn't be losing the ball as easy as that time. Seriously, lads, they are tearing through us. Ball in to the box. It's a header down, and Burkhardt scores a second, which is given offside. But only just as that quick free kick. Even that's a little bit dodgy, but we have got away with it. Torsiello has to fire from range, forcing Costa into a good save. This is very lively, especially for a first half, as now it is the centre-back, and that's a bad tackle. Or not, it's not being given. And Diouf, that's why West Ham signed him. Brilliant tackle from our left-back. Running through, shifting the gears up, and Ouedraogo. Can we squeeze this through the middle? The option's gone. Haag has to look central. Torsiello gets it on a spin. Our number 9 fires back 1 apiece. This final is a tasty one. 1-1 in the first half. And that was a brilliant goal, but second half still, it is 1 apiece. It's level with all to play for in the second 45, much like most of the time. There is never anyone leading, as Ordonez, what a brilliant tackle. Ouedraogo, 2 wonder kids linking up onto Ray, and Ouedraogo has a ball through there onto Richter. Brilliant little drag in front of him. I mean, off the ball, that was perfect. And no one actually on the end of it, as they take a Nioni off for Palacios, which is probably a stronger change for them. There's now Richter not really been involved, but that's a brilliant 1-2 pass, and we've tried to squeeze it through. However, it could have been a great move. We've stole the ball back, and Torsiello, Bar, came a little inward, and it gave the chance to get tackled, but he's still got the ball as our number 10. If he can try and get this into the back post, Torsiello, that's a handball. That is surely a handball from the defender. In a very exciting game here. It's not over till the next goal goes in, and Richter skipping away Torsiello. We know he can shoot. He's around one of his defenders here, but he's just running out of steam. Maybe Højlund comes on in extra time, but then again, I'm thinking about penalties. But maybe I don't even need to, because a final attack, it is Baran, and Richter's there to be slipped in. Ball doesn't go through. Final whistle blown. Extra time, Argyle versus AC, and a decent little spin-off. We usually do well at the start of extra time, until Richter just ran straight into his man and gave the ball away. But now Bar gets it onto Richter. Ball through the middle onto Ouedraogo. Bar stops running. Ouedraogo tries to shoot. We can't even get a chance to do it. It's just a game of pinballers now, second half. Really need to try and get a shot off. As when Torsiello did, we created a good chance. As here is Richter. Turns onto Ouedraogo. This is a chance to shoot from range. Not really challenging the keeper, though, with that one. And now Quadamo Bar. That's a brilliant cutaway. Give him the ball back. Can we stop penalties? Hits his own man, Trosello, but it falls to Richter. Richter around the back line. And what a save. What a save. Which means we go to the dreaded spot kicks. And I am really not looking forward to these ones. First up, it's going to be Asan with Ouedraogo. Keeper watches it go in. So Rodrigo against Leroy. And oh my days, how is that going in? Now I'm going to go to the same side I did just a moment ago with Torsiello. That is top corner. Never getting saved. And Colombo, I am going to dive the same way I did for the first one, and that's in. Leaving Malik Diouf, our defender, and for this one, I'm going to switch it up to the right-hand side. Knew the keeper would dive to the side I've been going to normally, as I'm going to go left. Chipping it down the middle. The cheek of it as now Richter. Richter, don't miss. I knew he wouldn't as Palacios. We really do need a big save here. Side netting, and Quamado Bar. Now it's sudden death, and we need a save from Leroy. It's going to be Archie Gray stepping up, and Archie Gray's penalty is saved, meaning Plymouth Argyle win a penalty shootout finale with our regen Courtois, and you could see I was in there at the celebrations. That is absolutely amazing. The first penalty win in a while. As the team go from real-life relegation to promoting themselves on the world stage, winning the Champions League, and the lifter of this trophy, I can't put my mind on it. Is it Haag, the midfielder? Can't get a view of the back of the shirt, but whoever it is, this has been deserved for Plymouth. As if you do want to see another relegated or promoted team or anyone rebuilt, drop them in the comments below. Subscribe, leave a like, and click here.